Hi, this is Max with Aronfield Agency. I know many of you are entering the video creating world and you're having trouble with your audio because you're using the internal microphones on your cameras, which can be pretty bad even into the DSLR range. So I just wanted to give you an audio post-production sort of toolkit to get the best sound out of your current setup. I'll be going over compression, normalizing, EQing, and whatever else I feel like should be in there. Let's go to the computer now.
And we're here. I have a file for us here that's pretty bad. It's got some noise. I recorded it myself. We're going to try to fix it as an example in this video. Let's have a listen.
This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better.
So you probably noticed that prominent hissing sound in the background. Sounds pretty bad. We're going to try to fix that and some other similar things in this video. First thing I notice about this audio file is that the clip isn't clipping anywhere. It's not peaking anywhere, which basically means that there's nowhere in the clip that the waveform reaches the edge where it starts to distort and sound crunchy and bad. It's all quiet, which is really good news. So what we're going to do is normalize it, which is to take the loudest part of the clip, which is probably right here, and make it loud enough that it's near the edge, but not quite there. So it's not going to clip, but it's going to be louder, if that makes any sense. It's going to be a bit easier to work with. So I have mine set to 98%, which means it's going to, drag out the loudest part of the signal to 98% of the way. I picked 98 because it's lower than 100, and 98 feels good to me. So let's apply that. So if we listen,
hopefully future Macs can make this.
It's a bit louder. That's all it really did, was just make it louder, because that's what normalizing does to this waveform, because it wasn't peaking or anything. Next thing we're going to do is noise reduction. So if you have a really noisy clip with the hiss in it, you need to find a place with just hiss for as long as possible, so we can find out what is hiss in the audio signal and what is not. This is a pretty solid clip of just hiss right here. I'm gonna select it and see how it sounds. Pretty good. Sounds pretty okay. So we're gonna right-click our selection and do Capture Noise Print. Next, what we're gonna do is pull up the noise reduction process. And right here is that noise print that we just captured. So now Adobe Audition knows what is noise in the audio clip and what is not. Let me go to default here, and we're gonna do these settings all over again so you can understand what these are. Right off the bat, we want to select the entire file, because that's what we're working with. That's what we want to change in the file, is just, we want to take the hiss out of the whole thing, basically. So we select the entire file. Next thing is that the reduce by it's way too much. 40 is going to sound a bit jarring. If you listen to this, it sounds unnatural, and you can hear garbling and artifacts in the audio clip.
This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit.
It just sounds so weird. The noise kind of gets phased in and out, or whatever happens to it. We want to lower that to like 15.
Better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Mac.
Maybe a little bit less. See, my goal here is to leave a bit of room noise in the clip and not completely take it out, if that makes any sense. It sounds unnatural if you completely take out all noise in the clip, because when you stop saying a word, it just drops to 0 decibels and it sounds weird and unnatural. So I'm gonna do like 12 and see how that sounds.
Can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone.
That's a little better. I like that noise level. It sounds a little more natural. So if we go down to the Advanced tab, right here, we have spectral decay rate, which is how much of the audio file is going to be processed by this when it goes below the noise floor. 65 sounds a bit reverby and weird. I want to lower that to like 50. See how that sounds?
On my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone.
I liked 55 a little bit better, so that's kind of where I'm at. Smoothing, you want to crank this up, because it kind of works on those weird audio garble noises when you do this kind of thing that I was mentioning before. I'll show you what I mean.
Phone on my personal camera.
Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the... So I'm liking that so far. Next we have precision factor. This number here is really gonna vary with a lot of you. It's gonna depend on how fast your computer is. I found that I can do 20 pretty comfortably. I say just experiment with that. Higher number the better, because it's gonna process the file more precisely, as you can probably tell by the precision factor. But you know, don't overload your processor. No blue screens, please. I don't want to be responsible for that. That sounds awful. Next we have transition width, which is sort of the difference between the noise in the audio and the rest of the information in the audio. It's not good to have it at 0 because that's going to give you some sharp corners in terms of the noise level going up and down. It's going to sound unnatural. I like to set it at about 12. 12 is great. Let's listen. The internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. That really fixed that weird audio noise crap in the background. So this is a test of the internal mic. I'm pretty pleased with that. Now you're going to notice it doesn't sound amazing. That's because we started with a bad microphone. There's not much you can do with a bad gear in the beginning, but you can make it sound a bit better. So this is it without it. Microphone on my personal camera. Now let's turn it on. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. See what I'm saying? It's quite a bit better than it was before. And that's just the first step, really. Second step, I guess we normalized. So let's just apply that to our entire file that we had all selected, as I mentioned before. So now let's work on those janky audio levels. We have super loud word here, super quiet word here. We're going to make that a little more consistent. So let's select it all. And we're going to go to dynamics processing, which is a compressor in Adobe Audition, but there's compressors in every audio editor out there, even Audacity. I know that for a fact. So compressors are a bit more scary looking than they actually are scary. Basically, it takes an input signal, which is represented by the x-axis here, and changes the audio level based on how loud it was when it came in on the output here, which is the y-axis. So basically, if you have a signal coming in at negative 30 decibels, which would be here in the input, if you follow it up to the curve, it would come out at negative 30 decibels because we don't have any compression applied at all. It's a straight line. But if we were to do something like this, now anything above negative 30, where I set the compression here, everything above negative 30 is going to be quieter to an extent, kind of smushed down. The loudest parts are going to be quieted more than parts down here, if that makes any sense. So if we have a negative 10 decibel signal coming in, instead of coming out at negative 10, it's now going to come out at like negative 21, negative 22 decibels. So, up here it's quieted by like negative 10 decibels, but over here by less. So we have basically this compressor smushing our signal a little bit wherever we want it, which is super useful for speech. So let's listen to the audio clip and pay attention to the meter here at the bottom about how loud my voice is and where it peaks and how quiet it is, that kind of thing. Microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs. So I noticed that the loudest my voice gets on average is like a little above negative 10 decibels. It does go way above that, but on average it's about negative 10 decibels, maybe negative 9, something like that. So that's kind of where we want to set our noise floor. Not a noise floor, sorry, the floor of the compressor. So let's do a little below negative 10, why not? Now we're going to set our compression ratio, which is basically how steep this thing is here. And you can see it represented down here on the ratio. I like to do, maybe about 4 when I do this. So let's listen to it with it off. Can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. It didn't do as much as I wanted to, so let's lower the floor to like a little below negative 15. And we will bring it back down to make it about a 4, maybe a bit more.
This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound.
I like that a lot more, actually. So now let's apply it, and notice here with the waveform how the louder bits get kind of smushed down a bit, but the middler parts here that are medium to low volume don't really get affected. So yeah, so now we have a bit more of a cohesive kind of file happening. So now I notice that there's some loud points here, louder than the rest of them. I kind of want to just clip them off. Not all the way down, but a bit. We want to have a natural volume landscape thing happening right here. So I want to cut this like along this green line. I think that would be pretty fair. That's -3. So what we're going to do to just cut off the signal is we can do, what's it called? It's called a limiter. Forgot what a limiter was called for a second. And it's actually set at -3. That's really funny. -3 was the value I wanted to set it at because it's what we decided. Basically, anything above -30, it just gets cut off. It just, not -30, sorry, gosh. Anything above -3 here in the audio signal just gets snipped off. It just gets lowered immediately to -3. So if you just watch on the file where it's above, actually let me select everything, it'll just get snipped off. Boom. So now everything is no louder than that. So now that we know that everything is -3, we can normalize again. Let's do it again. So now we have, a halfway decent file, hopefully. Let's listen.
This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better.
Now let's listen to the original file.
This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can make this sound a bit better. This is a test of the internal microphone on my personal camera. Hopefully future Macs can...
So yeah, that's how you get your audio sounding a bit better. Quite a bit going on there. Hopefully you learned something. I'm Max with Aronfield. Thanks for watching.